Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a subject that was actually requested of me by about 5 or 6 different people, which is what do I have in my close-up case, why do I have it in my close-up case, how do I manage my pockets for gigs, and any advice for people doing their first or second gig, you know, just starting out actually performing for money. So I'm going to split this over 2 videos. This will be the first one. I'll talk about what's in my case, why, and the pocket management. And the second video, which I've got straight after this, will be talking about advice to give people as they're starting out in close-up magic. So stay tuned for both, and hopefully you'll enjoy exactly how I get about fitting this jacket up without looking like I'm carrying a monster amount of magic. Right, let's look at the case itself. What do I use? There are different bags. Prop Dog have got a new bag that they've just released. Well, not released, but they've sort of sourced and that they're selling. I will go through now. So I use one of these sort of like flight case type jobs. They're nice and hard wearing. Chuck it in my van. I'm not going to worry about it getting scuffed or anything else. I've had this for years. It's fine. I like the layout of it. I like the fact that it's got the little compartment in the back. It comes with dividers. You get 3 sizes with this. There's a little one that goes in here and a big one that all, you know, so I've got uses for all 3. But this middle one is the perfect size. So we're going to go through everything that's in here and why, but this is actually the case I use. Now the only downside to this case obviously is it does look a bit like a bomb if you leave it, so make sure you put it somewhere like in a cloakroom or behind the bar. Don't leave it lying around. But otherwise, I like these cases. Some people like to go to their gigs and take in just a really small bag for the stuff that they know they're going to use. I like to sort of cover a lot of eventualities and be able to come to this if I need to. So there's a lot of stuff in here I don't use, you know, every gig, but it's there if I do need it, if the opportunity arises. So I'll go through that in a second. But yeah, this is my go-to. Now, let me just explain one thing about this case. Everything in here, literally everything in here, is something that I have down, fixed, sorted, can perform, is performance ready. Nothing goes in this case until it's at that stage. If I'm learning something or practicing something or even trying to drill something, it stays on the shelf, it stays up here. I'll go out and show it to friends, you know, and then put it back on the shelf, and I'll kind of road test it before I take it out. I do believe that when practicing magic, you need, just practicing at home in front of a mirror will only get you 70% of perfect. You know, they say practice makes perfect. Well, just practicing the technique won't make it perfect. There's all the presentation, the offbeats, the misdirection, and all the things you'll learn by doing it. Now, what I don't recommend you do is do that at a gig for the first time, you know, because you've got the technique down. Go out and show it to a few people, friends, pub, school, whatever it is, and get that extra 30% done in a live situation before you then go and charge money for it. It needs to be, you know, it does have some road testing to it. So yeah, with that in mind, everything in there is something that's performance ready and I've done many times. So let's go through each of the tricks that's in there. You know, it seems like a lot of magic, and it is, but it's not to be used in one go. So I'll explain about pocket management after I've shown you everything that's in here. So let's start with the obvious. 1, 2, 3, 4 decks of cards. These are just regular blue bicycle cards. Okay, so that's 4. I normally have 6 decks, no more, but it's just if somebody decides to throw my deck on the floor or this drink gets spilt on the deck of cards, I don't want to have to worry too much about it. Just discard the deck and get a new one. So I always carry up to 6 decks with me. I've got my V-Deck shell, which is a wonderful Alakazam product, just beautiful. My invisible deck, Myth, which, as you know me, Myth is one of my favourite effects. Extractor, and this is a mind control deck. So we'll come to as to why I use all these in a second. I'm just letting you know what's in here. This is Trilogy Extreme. This is all aboard, available from yours truly, which is a lovely little trick as well. I always have a whole bunch of spares. This is so if somebody asks me to do a card throwing demonstration, I can grab a couple of spares and do that. Also for duplicates. That's Technicolor. Screen test, the big version. Screen test, the little version. The Parapad, with some spare paper, and the Parapad pens. This Parapad pen, by the way, is made for me by Ian, a friend of mine, and they're much better than the Sharpies that you get with it. So just to bear in mind, if you're interested in picking one of these up, they're 20 quid. But really worth it. They don't run out anywhere near as quickly. They write much better. It's so soft when you write. It feels like there's no way that is sort of pushing through and maybe leaving an impression. With the Sharpie's got a real sharp tip. It almost feels when you write, because it runs out so quick, like you have to push quite hard, so it feels like you're leaving an impression behind. Whereas this, like a felt tip pen, you don't even realise that you're barely touching the paper with it. So beautiful pen, just to bear in mind. Some regulation Sharpies, of course. The world's best coin pen, or as Dave calls it, Dave Bonsal's little bird. All right, the Infinity wallet. This is in my case now. It used to be in my pocket. If you buy one of these, I recommend you use it as an everyday wallet for like 6 months to a year, just to get it worked in, used, so it looks and feels like a proper wallet, not a brand new wallet, and then put it in your case to keep it preserved in this state. You know, it's not the brand new one doesn't have the same feel, but when it's all worked in, it's ideal. So Infinity wallet. So I've got my 6th Sense 2.5 from Hugo Shelley with the pound coin that it comes with. So I've got a nest of wallets, which is Nick Einhorn's beautiful nest of wallets in the leather. Bottle through table, a wine glass bottom for the gag, a neck cracker. This just houses my coins. This has got imagination coins and reoccurring coins in here, so they just keep those safe. Is the coin, the split coin through the bag, plus a whole bunch of spare bags because I give the bag and the other coin away. Sharp knife, a squeaker. I've got a hole punch and a whole bunch of ribbon. Some, not condoms, but the condom effect. Gimmick cards in one of these little folders. They live in there as well. Some elastic bands, as we know. Crazy Man's handcuffs is a must. Some stuff for my vape, because I like to vape rather than smoke now, so I definitely do not stink as much as I used to at work, but I also keep some chewing gum just in case. And a build switching device, TT with a lighter, filter lighter. So that's what lives in my case. Let me explain about this whole plethora. Now, I couldn't put all of this in my pocket. Let me just show you how much. I mean, like that could not all go in my pockets. It would just be ridiculous. So the idea is I separate this for pocket management into different categories. So let's move on to pocket management. Okay, so now I've got like a whole shop in front of me. I say I'd never put all this in my pockets, but I have like an A, B and a C hierarchy of effects. So each one of these tricks has a particular pocket. And there are more than one trick per pocket, but they would never go in at the same time. So let's move on to my pocket management and my A setup. So this is how I set up for a gig. This is what I will put in my pockets for when I first arrive at a gig and I start doing my walk around. Now, there are things to bear in mind when you switch from A to B to C, and that is things like how loud it is. So there'll be some tricks like Trilogy and Myth that you can't really do really loud if you've got like a disco or a band playing. They're very verbal tricks. ESP decks, the same sort of thing. So with those in mind, they wouldn't go in because of noise, so they don't make it to my A setup. Time, so if you've got 2 hours but you've got like 100 tables, you know, and there should be 2 or 3 of you there, but it's not, you're on your own, then you're only going to go around once. So I don't bother changing to my B or C. I just take the A and I go around and do every table, and it just becomes a very kind of a repetitive kind of feel to the gig for me, but to them they all see some nice fresh magic, obviously. So that's something else to bear in mind. If I've got a gig and I've got 2 hours there and it turns out to be like 30 people, then I'll do my A set and then go have a little break, a vape, and change to my B. So when I come back in, I've just kind of restocked. All right, so that's the idea of the A, B and C, depending on the environment and the length of time versus how many people at the gig. So let's go through my A setup. So I always start my pocket at the top and I work my way down, so I'm going to show you exactly how I do this. So the first thing that goes in here, in my top pocket, will be Garrett Thomas's Stand Up Monty. So I will take this and I will place it up here. That's my A setup, so that goes in. Nothing else will go in there. It's a very important thing. You'll notice that sometimes there are more than one trick in each pocket, but they don't interfere with each other. There's no way I put other cards up here because I need to get in and out and know that that pocket is for that trick. Okay, so that's the top pocket. Now let's go on the inside pocket. Now there are certain things that are A and B. Without a doubt, the Parapad is A, B and C. This is the perfect thing. It takes a hell of a lot to get this out of my pocket. Alright, so that lives in there, and I take the pen that Ian made me rather than the one that came with it, and that just goes next to it, so that's all ready to go, and there's no extra space. Even though I've got 2 tricks on this side now, they're very thin. You know, I don't want to put a whole deck of cards up here or a really bulky thing in here. I like my jacket to still sit and look like it's fitted and be able to do it up. Okay, so That's this side. Now on the right hand side, I always place my invisible deck. I have done since I was about 17 years old. It just goes in there. I don't use this all the way around, and I do change this quite often, but it's just a beautiful thing to have. So that goes in there. So that's now the top 3 pockets done. Going down to my waistcoat pocket, I will place some business cards for easy access in the waistcoat here. Got a business card, boom, straight out, no messing. My waistcoat here. On this side, I will take whichever coins I decide to use for that day's effects. My pound coin for 6 cents in here, and I will more than likely have the turtle part of imagination coins in here. I don't keep all 4 coins as a set. I borrow the coins, do a coin trick with the 4 coins, and then add in the bit you need for imagination coins. Just makes it a bit more organic and believable, and also you're not rattling around. So I've got a turtle there and the pound coin here. Okay, so let's work our way down. We're now going to the outside jacket pockets. What I have on the outside jacket pocket here is my V-deck shell. Okay, that goes here. I always keep it safe when I'm not working in. It's very fragile, so keep this. If you get one of these, keep it in there. It's ideal. Okay, so that's the V-deck shell in there. Now I do add something to that, which is the bottom. That will not play in any way. That won't affect my taking the V-deck shell out, me ditching the cards, all that sort of stuff. That will sit in there quite nicely, and again, nice and flat. The only thing you've got to be aware when you've got your V-deck shell here is not to lean against a bar or anything. I've done it a couple of times and you crush the shell, so just bear that in mind. On my right hand jacket pocket, I keep a regular deck of cards, which the knife, by the way, I would have cut the front out ready for my V-deck, and that will go in here. And with that, I'll add Bodsel's little bird, alright, because again, that won't affect the cards. Okay, so again, a little bit of weight now, but again, you know, these are big pockets, but they're not, it's not doing this. You know, I don't have any holdouts or anything here. I like to keep it nice and trim, so there we go. So that's all the pockets full up on my jacket, but this tends to be in play most of the time, so this gives me an empty pocket here for ditching the deck and so on. Alright, so now we're in good shape. Let's go down to the trousers. The back pocket, obviously, I'm going to put my infinity wallet back here. Nothing is getting. I stopped using OmniDeck because of my infinity wallet. It's just I used to have a Carter wallet that was in this pocket, you know, the big one, but I got rid of that as soon as I got the infinity wallet. I tried having the OmniDeck and infinity wallet in the same pocket, just got in each other's way, so I stopped using OmniDeck, started using V-deck. Very happy with the change. All right, so that's the setup there. And you notice, by the way, I've got nothing outrageously mad on me. I've got no big, beautiful, colourful props and hankies and everything else. Cards, coins, wallet. You know, I'm using a wine glass. It's just all very organic stuff. So I try not to be too proppy, but that's just my style. Left-hand trouser pocket, I put in my just a whole bunch. Now I don't expect to do this many torn and restored at a gig. Sometimes I do, but I don't expect that many. I put this many in here because when they go in, obviously now you're going to have some that are against your leg, and the heat from your leg at a gig, these bottom ones will warp. They'll just bend against your leg. It's just the way it happens. So rather than putting 1 or 2 cards in and they bend, and then when I put them in the deck it's really obvious, I'll put a whole stack in. So I'm taking them from the top, and these are just going to take the heat literally from your leg, so the top ones won't get bent and they won't get warped. So when I'm coming in and adding a duplicate to the deck, I know it's going to be okay. Right, so that's that. The ticket pocket. This is where I keep my 1-card additions to the deck. I'm actually out of them at the moment, but I have things like Sharpie through card, expansion, cross, all those things where you just take a 1 card, you know, a cigarette through card in the old days, and I can just have my deck here. When I reach down, I pull up and it goes on top of the deck. So it's a nice pocket to do. Literally as you come up, you add it on. So it's a real nice pocket to have them in. I tend to have 2 in there at a time, so I can either go front or back. I know where I'm going. I don't need to have to count through a load of cards, you know, I just have 2 at a time. But my A setup would always be Double Back by John Allen, and more than likely something like expansion as well. Big fan of expansion. So those two would go in, and I would use those as and when I wanted to. I could just fit them in and out, nice and easy. Okay, back pocket here. I used to keep my sponge balls in there. I don't use sponge balls anymore. Not because I don't like them. They're just take up a lot of space. So here I keep my whole bunch. It's out of the way. And I would take just a length of ribbon and put that in the back here as well. So instead of me cutting that, just a length of ribbon would go in the back. So again, nothing too crazy. I'm not holding out, they see bulges and stuff. It doesn't look like I'm holding a whole load of stuff. I still look like I did before I set up. My Sharpies, let's just get normal Sharpies involved. I keep in this pocket here only because I used to keep them up here like everyone else does, but it gets in the way of using this for Stand-Up Monty, so I just keep them here, and it keeps it separate from the one you need for Parapad. Not such a problem now with change pen, but when I had Sharpie here and a Sharpie there, I didn't have to keep looking at the bottom for the little black dot that I put on there. I don't have to keep looking for that, so I just keep them over here, and always keep more than one in case it runs out or you leave it at a table. I do it all the time. Someone signs something, puts it down, I'll do my bill switch and then walk off, and I get to the next table and there's nothing worse than going, stay there, shuffle the cards, running over and getting your pen and coming back. It just looks crap. So keep 2 or 3 pens in there and it doesn't matter too much. Right, we're getting towards the end of my A setup. I used to have my TT and lighter in this pocket as an A setup. It used to be a beautiful. I'm still putting in there a habit. I also use my waistcoat pocket for my thumb tip because I used to use this pocket, but it just looked odd with that shape just sat here in your pocket. It just didn't look great. So, yeah, my thumb tip lives up here, but it's going. I think it's going to be going and sort of being relegated to the B or C. And it's because of the notes in the UK and now turning to this plastic that don't really fold and hold their shape very well. I don't enjoy doing bill switches with them anymore. So. We've got £20 notes still that we can do it with, that people will be carrying, but again next year they are going as well. So I'm sort of, if I would do it now, I'll eliminate this down to the B section until I do it with a receipt or something. But it's a shame. I've been doing that for years, but just the way the currency's going over here is not really ideal. So instead in here I would have my Technicolor set. Now when I do have Technicolor in my pockets, I always have 3 on this side and 3 on this side, and I would normally have, when I go to a gig, because I've got a son and I like to keep myself available if there is an emergency, I would take my phone and I would put it in my pocket. It doubles up, okay? So not only is it a phone that I can, if it vibrates, if there's an emergency, law needs to get hold of me, also, it stops the heat from my leg warping these cards. Okay, so these ones stay nice and flat because the heat is going into the phone. So it doubles up nicely. Okay, you can keep that in there. Now it's starting to look a bit like I've got things in my pockets, but because I wear trousers that aren't particularly baggy, you can still see the shapes of what's in my pocket. But it doesn't matter too much. You are there to work. And essentially this is your phone. Take it out and that becomes normal. But I don't like the idea of the cards warping against my leg. If you don't want to put your phone in there, you can just put a whole bunch of random cards in front of those cards again. But this way I can get in and go 1, 2 or 3 and know which one I'm picking up very quickly without grabbing in different card by accident. So that is me set up for a gig now. I even feel like I could go and do a couple of hours magic. Now I can sit down quite comfortably. I'm just sitting on the hole punch, which is off to one side, and my wallet, so I'm not sitting on anything that's going to make me feel like I'm going to break it. The only thing I'll add now to my set would be putting 6 cents on here, some elastic bands around my wrist. That's my A setup. Now you see how much stuff is left here, look. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of tricks here that I could still use, and I'll show you how I do use them as well and how I change it up. Right, so let's look at what's left. These are just going to be in my case in case somebody asks me to do a card scaling demonstration, because a lot of people will know me for that. Stand up. Now sometimes at a gig they'll say to you, can you do just something to everyone? We gather you around, can you just do something? Or they all gather around because you're supposed to be doing the photographs outside. It suddenly pours with rain, everyone comes inside, you're all stuck in a room, there's nothing to do, they hadn't planned for this. What do? You could go around doing close-up, but you really want to sort of bring this room together and bring the energy back up. So having a 30-minute or thereabouts sort of set that's in your case is a wonderful thing to have. It's just very handy. You might use it 3 times a year, but boy is it handy to have. So if you've seen my 30-minute corporate set that I did in a video a while back, that's the 30 minutes that I have on me. So what I have is a mind control deck, which is the trick that I did to Zeus. I normally do this with PK touches. I don't do it on that video because the crowd were behind us, and if you know about PK touches, that wasn't so good. So I'll have this, I'll have screen test, and I'll have the pound coin with the 6 cents on as well. So those three together give me a 30-minute set, which I'm really happy with. So if there is a break or some reason that the crowd needs entertaining as a whole, or you want to finish your set with a set to everyone and just do one or more of those tricks, these are ideal. Okay, so it's very small, they just sit in my case, and if I need to do that, I'll go empty a few pockets and just set this up as if I'm doing a stand-up set. The condom thing I don't put in as my A set, even though the gimmick for this is in my wallet all the time. I like to, so I've done the first, let's say I'm doing the first lap, and I'm going to change my setup for the second lap. Yeah, I will put this in the second lap because it will give me an idea of who's at what table, where I can do this trick with the condom and not offend somebody, or somebody might be really easily offended. Some people might be really raucous and really up for it. I'll know where to do it because these are one-time use only, like most condoms. But this trick is a one-time thing, right? So you can't turn them inside out and use them again. That will go into my side pocket. I'll probably take the V deck out by then because I've done it on the way around. ESP routine. This is very much based on how much noise there is at the gig, whether it can be heard. I don't like to do this every table, despite the fact it's a beautiful routine and it would play beautifully at every table. I like to do this to someone when I make a bit of a connection with them during the rest of my set. I don't mean that in a spiritual way, it just means we banter, we get on well. There's kind of a, you know what I mean? You know when you meet someone and you're doing a gig and there's one person that is really into it, you know, they're going on with a joke. They're just nice people to work for. They stand out from the others. That's when I treat them to this trick. Okay, so I feel like this trick is a treat for whoever sees it, and I want to also really enjoy it. I don't want to start churning this trick out and stop enjoying it. So I keep that as a little special treat for someone right at the end of the gig, and I will take out my stand-up Monty and put this in here. So that's where this becomes A and this is my B set. Okay, so I'll just swap those round. So again, not filling up the pockets, but just swapping each pocket out. If we look at the B set for my parapad pocket, there is no B set for my parapad pocket. There isn't. It's just one of those things. Alright? Nothing can get the parapad out of my pocket. Is the extractor, because that needs to go in here. It can go in, but I don't like to be too fumbly, but it can fit in there with the pad. So often I'll just leave the pad in there with it. But the extractor is my B for the V deck being A. So this pocket here, this will be my A set. When I've gone round, I would tend to do this to every single table because I love the V deck. I really enjoy it. So that would be done all the time. So when I'm going around on my second lap, I have to ditch this because there's no point doing it again. Everyone's seen it. So I put the extractor in its place. Same width, same size, same everything. Nothing changes, but I've got a new trick for that pocket. Okay, so that's just A and B. Let's look at my first marked deck. Now this is Trilogy Extreme. This is very much, I do this once at a gig, only once. So it's very similar to the Condom Effect and very similar to ESP. I do this once because this always ends the same. It's Trilogy Extreme. We know it always ends the same. So I'll either do this for the bride and groom, and I would do something like, if it's a wedding, there is a photograph of the prediction. I may post it to them and get them to bring it along, or get the best man to bring it along. I always keep another one with me because obviously they've got a lot to organise with the wedding, so they're not going to, this won't be the top of their priority list. But I do send it in the post and say, don't open it, bring it to the gig, blah, 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 blah. It's really nice. Then you do the whole set and then you say to the best man, I sent you something last week, have you got it? He pulls it out, opens the envelope, and we pull out the prediction, okay, which matches. Now it's exactly the same trick as if you just pull this out of your own pocket and put it down, but it's a nice touch to send it along, okay? So I do this once at a wedding, I'll do it to the bride and groom. If not, if it's a birthday party or whatever, it's one of those things where I gather a lot of people around at the end and do this to as many people I can around one table. Really strong effect. Not one I would circulate with, but definitely one I would finish on. So as I go, my end of my gig, I might have 20 minutes left. I'll go and just unload loads of stuff and get it all out and get my suit empty, and I'll put a couple of tricks in. So one would be this, and one would be myth. These will literally be in my pocket as on their own. They won't be a part of a walk around set. Myth is good enough to do walk around. It's different every single time, so it's fine for walk around. Again, this feels like the ESP deck for me. I like doing this for people that I feel deserve to see it. That's a strange thing to say, but it's such a lovely thing. I don't want to do it to death. I don't want people to be, I'll be known for this any kind of number effect. I want people to feel very lucky, very special when they see this trick, and I want to feel like I'm giving them a good experience. So this one and ESP routine are amongst those effects. So there will be just something that once I've packed away and I've got 15 minutes left, I'll go find the table that I enjoyed the most, I'll find the person that I enjoyed performing to the most, and go and treat them to some really nice strong magic. So these don't go in my close-up set, they just get put in towards the end, so I can go back and treat the nice people. Bottle through table, I don't do at all. I keep those in there in case someone really insists I can do it and starts goading me into, you can't do it, you're rubbish. Because Etienne, Faye Presto and Chris Harding, guys who are all sort of in the, say, Kent area, London, they do it a lot and they do it beautifully, and it's very difficult to, I don't like to do magic where I finish a trick and then they mention the other guy or girl they saw doing it. You know, that's just something I don't like. I want people to say, Christ, I've never seen that before, you know, like Technicolor or All Aboard or something. I want people to say, wow, I've seen magic before, but never like that. You know, because people always get caught up in the moment, and whichever magician they're watching, they always say, I've seen magic, but you're the best, you know. But I do want them to say, I've never seen that stuff before. You know, I don't want people to say, oh, some French guy did that, like the last wedding I was at, you know, because it's just not a nice thing to, A, to be compared to Etienne, because you've got to lose, because he's just amazing, and B, just to be remembered. It's like me saying to them, oh, you were great, but the audience I had in the last one, they clapped much louder. It's just not a nice thing, you know. So I try and do stuff not original. As you can see, a load of this stuff is very commercial. But I try not to do the stuff that the guys locally I know are doing consistently. Neck cracker is just in my pocket. That could be in any pocket. It's so small, it barely makes up any love. I just chuck it in. If the moment arises, you know, if you don't know what a neck cracker does, by the way, you just say to them, you know, hold your fingers out if you're going to do the elastic band stuff, and as they hold the hand out, you just turn the hand a bit, they get a crunch. Everyone laughs, you ditch it and you're back in. So it's just a little bit of fun. I don't really have a pocket for that, it just goes anywhere, normally over here, but lovely little gimmick. Nesta Wallets is a work in progress. What I mean by that is I've got to get Dave Ponsel's Ring Flight, the Ring Flight Revolution, and some envelopes. So this is kind of hasn't got what it needs to be used, so that's in there. When I do use this, it's the only thing that takes the power pad out of my pocket. Now I only do this once as well. I don't like setting up the envelope loads and loads of times. I just do it once, normally for the bride. I use a ring, goes onto the key ring and then disappears and ends up in here in the wallet. So it's just a one-time effect for me. I don't like having to reset up stuff too much, alright? Squeaker is just, I don't know, if someone's like, don't trick my kid, and they're like really too small to do, you know, can I borrow your watch? Oh, you're two. Can I borrow your, oh, you're two. You know, it's just, it's there. I haven't got a routine for it. This is a C effect. This is if I really have been round like 400 times at a very small gig, I would do this one where you take the coin and you put it through the bag. It's a lovely little effect, but not in my A, B or C. This is really like right down if I run out of stuff and just fancy doing something, or have it on the way out in case someone goes, do one more trick, and you do that, leave them in the bag and off you go. So All Aboard, how can I forget this? Now All Aboard's a weird one as well, because I will use All Aboard when I get to sit down with people. Weirdly, when it works just perfectly walk around, I will, if I get a table and they're like, and loads of people gather around me and I'm kind of like, oh wow, this is cool, and I start to do a whole load of stuff, I might say to them, just stay here, I'm going to grab a drink, you have a chat for 5 minutes, we're back, I'll do some more. I'll go and grab this for that reason, for I get a bit of a crowd around the table. Don't know why, it's beautiful, it works beautifully walk around, but it's not really, Dave Bonsall reviewed this as a filler, which is not a bad thing. It's just, it's not an opener, it's not a closer, it's not like that strong, same as cartoon, but it's great, just a great little filler in between tricks, you know, just to go from one to the other and sort of get out of cards or if you want to switch a deck or something, you put the cards away, do this and then pull the other one out or whatever. So I like to do this and make it seem bigger to a group of people, you know. And it's lovely. It is really nice, but again, I'll use it for that reason. And that is what's in my close-up case, why I use it, and how I manage my pockets. There you go. That's me emptied out. That's my set. That's my A set. B, C, and the occasional D are in there in case I need to do extra laps. So don't forget, I've got PK time that I add to this as well, watch deals. So there's a lot of stuff that I use without props at all, napkins over the head and stuff. So this is what's in my pockets. Very manageable. But a lot of that will get swept aside. A new set will come in to replace it for the second lap, and I'm never overstacked, but I'm always over prepared, which is the key. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to follow on Patreon if you want to support the channel. The link is down below. You'll get exclusive content, Skype time, and as much advice as I can give you guys. Also, my Instagram is down below. Do follow there, because a lot of the competitions are announced on my Instagram page. Along with the times of the live streams. Live streams will be Sunday at 9 PM, as much as I can make them. If I have a gig, obviously that will change, so keep an eye on Instagram for that. Also, Discord link is down below, which is basically a community of people in a forum chatting, and it's very friendly. It's like the Magic Cafe without all the bellends, so it's really, really cool. So if you want a nice, friendly environment with people giving advice and encouragement, head over to the Discord now. It's really, really good fun. Leave a comment below. What I'd like you to do is just let me know what your A setup is, what you will be taking to a gig as your go-to. And just be interested to see what you use. So leave a list down below, and I'll enjoy reading that. Also, there is a giveaway, a competition that was announced in my live yesterday. If you missed the live, I do delete them because I teach a lot of magic in there. The giveaway will be based upon you guys looking at my last video, which is the colour changing deck routine that I taught. Learn that, perform that. It'll give you guys a little bit of creative, get the juices flowing. Send me the video of you performing the exact routine. You can change the method as long as the presentation looks exactly the same. And I will choose a winner. Mark Webley has very generously donated his Imagination Coins set. So you get the DVD and the 10p, UK 10p set, which will be drawn next Sunday at 9 PM in the live, and it will be sent out to you straight away. Next week we'll also have a new challenge, which you'll have a week to complete, and the winner will be drawn the following Sunday, and it will go on. So keep an eye on the lives. Also, there is a big prize of the TA, the Total Astonishment Paul Harris box set, which is worth about $300. It's an amazing set, and when the channel gets to 10,000 subs, I will be doing a live stream to choose the winner. You will have to be in the live stream to claim the prize, and it's when I get to 10,000 subs. So share this channel out, get the channel up to 10,000, and one of you, and bear in mind, although there's 10,000 people, there may only be 60 or 70 people in the live, so don't feel like you've only got a 1 in 10,000 chance of winning it. Okay, it's about who's in the live at the time. So share the channel out, get as many people involved as you can, and good luck. I hope you win the TA box set.